You're about to hear the incredible story of how a chocolate brand didn't just break into a new country, it completely took it over. We're going to break down Cadbury's masterclass in strategy, how it stared down a crisis that would have destroyed most companies and came back even stronger. It's one of the greatest business comebacks ever. So yeah, how did they do it? How did a bar of chocolate become a national icon and then survive a total disaster? Let's get right into it. Okay, to really get this story, you have to picture the India that Cadbury walked into way back in 1948. You see, this wasn't just about selling a new product. Nope, this was about changing an entire culture's habits right from the ground up. Cadbury basically hit a cultural brick wall. In India, sweets were a serious business for adults. Traditional sweets, called mithi, were, well, they were everything. They were part of festivals, celebrations, everyday moments. And chocolate? That was just seen as some foreign thing you gave to kids. It wasn't for real grown-up occasions. So what do you do? How do you convince an entire nation to change? Well, Cadbury's big idea was pure genius. They launched these amazing ad campaigns all centered on a single, simple phrase, Kuch Meeta Ho Jaye, which basically means let's have something sweet. This was a brilliant move to make chocolate the go-to sweet for any happy moment, for adults, not just kids. And did it work? Oh yeah, it worked. I mean, look at these numbers. By 2011, Cadbury wasn't just another player in the market. They pretty much were the market. They had a massive 70% share of the entire Indian chocolate industry. Absolutely dominant. But just when they were on top of the world, after 55 years of building this empire, a single crisis in 2003 nearly brought the whole thing crashing down. This wasn't just a bit of bad press. This was an existential threat. And the timing, wow, it was a complete nightmare. Just a few weeks before Diwali, which is the biggest sales holiday of the year, reports started coming out about worms being found in dairy milk bars. It started small in Mumbai, but then the media got a hold of it, and it just exploded into a national firestorm. The damage was instant, and it was brutal. Sales dropped by 30%, right when they should have been hitting their yearly peak. All that trust they had built for decades, it was vanishing, just like that. So what did Cadbury do? Well, their first reaction was a huge mistake, a classic what not to do in a crisis. Instead of owning the problem, they got defensive. They pointed fingers at the small retail shops, basically blaming their own partners for storing the chocolate poorly. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. It perfectly explains why that strategy was so bad. Honestly, no parent out there cared how the worm got there. All they knew was that there was a worm in a Cadbury chocolate bar. The company just came off as arrogant, and it made things so much worse. Okay, so Cadbury realized pretty quickly that being defensive was just adding fuel to the fire. They needed a hard reset. So they launched something called Project Vishwas. And that name is so important because Vishwas literally means trust. Their comeback plan was actually pretty simple, but incredibly effective. It boiled down to two key steps. First, take real action. Don't just talk. Actually fix the problem. And then, once you've done that, and only then, you go out and tell everyone what you did. Now, here's where it gets really smart. They introduced brand new, double-wrapped, super secure packaging. This cost them an extra 10 to 15%. But, and this is the key, they absorbed that cost completely. They didn't raise prices. That sent a powerful message. Your safety is more important to us than our profit margin. But just changing the wrapper wasn't going to be enough. The company's credibility was shot. They needed a voice, a spokesperson that literally the entire country looked up to and trusted, no questions asked. So they went and got the biggest star in India, Amitabh Bachchan. And it is really hard to overstate how big of a deal he is. We're not just talking about a movie star. This man is a cultural icon, a legend, respected by everyone, from kids to grandparents. You see, what they were doing here was a genius move to get what we call third-party validation. It's one thing for a company to say, hey, trust us. It's a completely different thing for someone like Amitabh Bachchan to basically put his own reputation on the line and say, I've checked it out myself. It's safe. People believed him. So, the results? They were just incredible. You can see here, sales had crashed down to 70% of what they were. But in just 8 weeks, after the new packaging and the Bachchan campaign hit, sales shot right back up to almost pre-crisis levels. I mean, that is a textbook turnaround. All right, so now that we've gone through the whole roller coaster story, let's break it all down. What are the big lessons here? What were the core strategies that made Cadbury so successful, both in its rise and in its amazing recovery? When you really boil it all down, Cadbury's success in India sits on three main pillars. First, they were masters of adapting their product to the local culture. Second, they were always innovating with new products. And third, when a total disaster hit, they handled the crisis like pros. And the reason why all this worked is that they understood people. They built a real emotional bond with their customers. They chose to build trust instead of playing the blame game. And they knew that when trust is broken, you need an incredibly credible voice to help you get it back. So, what are the big takeaways for any business today? Well, there are a few timeless lessons here. Number one, actions first, words second. Fix the actual problem before you start your PR campaign. Number two, own your story from the very beginning. Respond with empathy, not excuses. And finally, understand that the right spokesperson can be a powerful bridge to win back the faith of your customers. And that kind of leaves us with one final thing to think about. Cadbury's comeback was a masterstroke for its time, no doubt. But I want to ask you, if this happened today, in the age of Twitter, TikTok, and instant outrage, could a celebrity still save the day? Or is the game completely different now? It's a really interesting question to think about.